My name is Stevie Rolfe. I run a cattle breeding business in mostly Scotland and just on to the north of England, covering scanning, synchronisation, freeze branding, AI work, and I'm trying to think what else, but that's about it. I've been AIing for 41 years and I've been scanning for 26. My customers calve at 2, 2.5 and 3 all have different systems, different setups, and they pick an age that suits their setup. Most common age for bulling heifers nowadays is for them calving at 2 years old, majority of them. One of the main important parts of calving heifers, etc. at 2 years old is the management of them after the calve. To try and keep them going, keep them growing, ideally on their own. But you have to remember too that a lot of people calve their heifers 3 or 4 weeks earlier than their cows, and so have to remember to wean them 3 or 4 weeks earlier and let the heifer grow on. Other thing you would like to do with your heifers is when you're drawing out your bulling heifers and select them, you want to draw them from the first 3 weeks of your calving if possible. You maximise the age of the heifer, and you're also picking the best breeding cow calves as well, because they're the ones that go and calve quickest, so therefore more fertile. In the years that I've been scanning, which is 26 years, I would say the age of the heifer for calving has dropped from 3 years to mostly 2 years of calving, although there is some still calving at 2.5. The reason people are calving at 2.5 is they have a split herd and they can pick heifers from the opposite calving, which gives them a little bit more maturity, a bit more strength, a wee bit easier calving, and they seem to have more milk, and they also seem to recover after post-calving to get back and calve quicker with less losses. People are having to calve at 2 if they're only calving once a year, so they've got the choice between 2-year-old calving or 3-year-old calving, and economically 2 is better than 3 because you've got 1 year less to carry the heifer before it calves. The people that are wanting to calve at 2 years old in their heifers need to do a few things. They need to make sure the heifers are fit. They need to make sure they're fit to bull, i.e. there's no free martins, etc. And also, if you pelvic score them, you can take out the narrow pelvises, which will take out a good percentage of your bad calving from 2-year-old heifers. The benefit is that calving at 2, you've got 1 year less of feeding, rearing, etc. You get return 1 year quicker. The cows don't grow as big, which is a problem we're seeing now, is the cows are getting too big. The downsides of calving heifers at 2, if they're not kept going, you get more calving difficulties, which in turn makes it harder to get your heifer back in calve after she's calved, and they'll lose a lot of body condition as well. Some of them may not have enough milk either because they're struggling to grow and produce milk for a calf, especially if the calf is strong. The biggest problem is actually getting them to recycle after they've calved. If the calf's taken too much out of them, or they've had a sore calving and they're still trying to grow, so you seem to lose more first calvers not being in calve than you usually do if they're calved at 2. In the 2-year-olds, to try and keep their body condition up, you've got to be very, very good to them and keep them in a separate group away from the other cows is ideal, where you can give them that little bit extra, push them on, and if you can keep the body condition up, etc., they do go back and calve quicker. When you're bulling at 2 years of age, you need to have a target weight for your heifers before they go at the bull. Ideally, they need to be above 360, 380 kilos to have a half decent size body condition and for being mature enough to bull. The calving at 3-year-old is still got a place on farms like the hill farms, etc., where the animals are slower growing and they're left on the hill, so they've not got as much of an input for that extra year. And these boys, they're mostly more native breeds, and they want them to calve out in the hill on their own, grow themselves, look after the calf, and to do that, probably the 3-year-olds are the only way that they could do that. When it comes to serving your heifers, especially 2-year-olds, a lot of people use AI so they can pick a very easy calving bull, which can also have the bonus of a high milk bull and keep the replacements for yourself. Therefore, you can use a specific bull for heifers only, whereas maybe on your farm you've not got enough cows to have a separate bull just for heifers. In the AI side, you can do that. In the breeding of your heifers, etc., if you're using AI, you have the freedom to use any breed you want. And we have some people that they'll do their beef heifers that are getting near pure with something like a Calve, which is a dual purpose breed, which puts in more milk back into the herd and gives them a nucleus herd for their suckler herd as well. Today behind me there is a group of heifers that's been running with a bull for 6 weeks, and with them being quite mature, well weighted, etc., we've just scanned them in the 6-week mark and the bull has 75% of them in calve already. When you AI heifers, you can have the bull running with them for 4 or 5 weeks after it, and 35 days after your heifers have come away from the bull, you can scan them, and if you're not wanting to keep the empties, they can go straight back into a fattening pen. You can sell them, then you don't have the extra cost of carrying them, and they're still under 30-month-old. You want your heifers fit and healthy, but you don't want them too fat as well, because over-fat heifers do not cycle as well as fit but not fat heifers. If I had to buy the heifers in, I would be buying them in to calve at 2.5 from a high health herd.